Solo! En la pantalla, Solo! Solo!
Right here, Java.
What's happening, YouTube? My name is Immortal Coil, and today we're talking Han Solo. So the other day I was on Kermit the Log's stream, Between the Lines, when he asked if I had read anything interesting in the news lately. And we can go back and revisit this a little bit, but I don't feel like I got my proper bitch out. And I try to study what all the other fandom menacers are doing and try not to cover something that's been covered by bigger channels or multiple channels at the same time. And the only one I saw cover this was Drunk 3PO. So go ahead and check out his review of this, and I'm about to spit out my 2 cents. Fandom Menace's good friend Kevin Berwick on MovieWeb, October 11th, 2019, wrote an article called Han Solo sold Luke's New Hope medal for booze, and it's Star Wars canon. Okay. Now, I can't hardly fault Kevin Berwick for reporting what he read, but the fact that this thing exists is very incensing to fans of Star Wars. Ever since the buyout by Disney, Star Wars has slowly been working to retcon events in the life of the original trilogy characters. Now, at first, it was innocent enough. You know, there's a couple of really kind of funny Star Wars comics where a woman claims to be Han Solo's wife, and Leia gets all bent about it. In my heart of hearts, after I had seen movies like The Force Awakens and The Last Jedi, I had a kind of solace in the fact that comic books with the Star Wars name and the regular pulp books that came out seemed to be carrying the torch a little bit better than the cinema that we were given. This all changed recently, though, because we got word that Palpatine's not the big bad. He has some sort of, like, harpy who has her thumb on his forehead and making him do evil shit so that she can be the matriarch of the galaxy far, far away. Now, it's no secret to the fandom menace that Disney is doing this in order to introduce their identity politics into Star Wars and tell us what a man should be and what he should do and who a woman is and what she should do, and then get every sort of diversity and race included in the Star Wars galaxy. Which to me is insanely silly because Star Wars was always diverse. Every race of human being was represented in the original trilogy and in the prequel trilogies. We also had aliens, actual extraterrestrials whose skin colors varied. You know, look at Ahsoka Tano. She's orange. She has white and blue laku. And then we have droids, and we have insectoids, and we have amphibious life, we have reptilian life. And we even had the Utapau thousands of battle droids dude. So this idea that Disney was the first company to be brave enough to add diversity to the Star Wars galaxy obviously didn't see the same movies that we all saw. Now what's worse is they're actually taking a character like Han Solo and cheapening the journey he went through in the original trilogy. Let me explain. We learned from Berwick's article that there is a new book that has been released in the UK called The Force Collector. And the protagonist in this book finds his way to Orange Yoda's planet, where she has all this shit accumulated. And one of the turds in this pile of crap happens to be Luke's Battle of Yavin medal, the award that he was given at the climax of A New Hope. Now, Han Solo also got a medal in that ceremony, and for some reason they decided to say, fuck you, Chewbacca, and he did not get a medal. However, what we can infer from this is that at some point, Luke Skywalker handed his medal to Han Solo and probably said something like, here, hang on to this. I need to go to the first Jedi Temple and figure my shit out, and I'll be back for it at some point. Han Solo says, okay. But if we're to follow this line of thinking to its conclusion, at some point, Han Solo probably got upset over the fact that Ben Solo went to the dark side, went with Snoke, and out of some misplaced feeling of spite, went and traded Luke's medal for booze. Doesn't sound like the Han Solo I know. Let me tell you about Han Solo. Now, we knew from the EU, which unfortunately isn't canon, but they are drawing, Disney Star Wars is drawing upon elements of the EU to sort of fill out the lack of writing skills that they possess. Han Solo at some point served the Empire and then switched to smuggling as his profession. He was a rough around the collars kind of guy. He didn't think twice about killing people who got in his way, and he was all about the money. We knew that Chewbacca owed him a life debt, and as such was his faithful companion. And despite what people like Jonathan Kasdan want to say, no, it was a bro relationship. There's no sexual tension there at all. Chewbacca actually is happily married. Yeah, he even got Han Solo to take him back to Kashyyyk for Life Day. Now, living the pirate life and being a guy who looks like Harrison Ford, you can imagine Han Solo probably had many consorts. And indeed, when we first encounter him in A New Hope, he is sitting in a bar. He's sitting in a cantina where Luke and Ben kind of come bumbling in, and, well, Luke's more the bumbling type. Ben Kenobi knew what he was doing. And he saw Han, and he followed his instincts, and they got on the Falcon, and not before Han blasted a hole in Greedo. But you could see throughout this movie he was very much concerned about his own survival and his own neck. He didn't care about the revolution. He didn't care about the rebellion. He just wanted to get paid and get the fuck out of there. But somehow Luke got to him, and he made him think of his own kind of role in everything and how he's been a loner and how whatever. And I think Chewbacca actually probably barked at him in the Falcon. And what did Han do? He turned his ass around. He cleared out the trench. Darth Vader went flying one way. The other TIE fighters got destroyed, and Luke blew up the fucking Death Star. Now, in Empire Strikes Back, Han Solo is dealing with a death mark on his head. So he wants to help, and he wants to be there. You can see his loyalty to his friends when he goes out in the tundra of Hoth, chasing after Luke, because that's his friend out there. Now, sure, Luke probably ticked him off a little bit after Leia made out with him, but it's nothing that he couldn't put past it. And then when he goes to Cloud City in Bespin, he goes there looking for a friend, and he wasn't sure he had one, and he was fucking right. His friend sold him out to the Empire.
We would be honored if you would join us.
Han Solo gets put in carbonite, and we don't know if he's going to live or die. Now, by the time we get to Return of the Jedi, Han had been through a lot, but he had also seen that his friends were there for him, probably for the first time in his life. He didn't have to just rely on himself or on Chewbacca. He had people who gave a shit. And because he had people who gave a shit, he decided to give a shit. So he worked his way from being a scoundrel to being a good guy, mostly. I mean, he's still a cocky prick, but that's what we love about Han. Now, there are some big problems to how Disney has been treating him. And the people from Disney haven't been too convincing in their retort. We saw the other day that Freddie Prinze Jr. came out and was saying stuff like, well,
I did a Star Wars cartoon, so even I get hate from Star Wars fans when I'm like, look, dog, you're just mad the franchise isn't aging with you.
Right.
But that ain't how it works. The first one was for fucking kids.
Right.
The second three were for different fucking kids. And this one is for kids. You just pissed off that Han Solo gave the fucking Millennium Falcon to a girl.
Yeah.
well, no, that's not all what they're doing to him at all. They're making him into a deadbeat dad who can't face his family after something terrible happens. He can't just band together with Leia. He fucking takes off and starts doing pirate bullshit again, which completely undermines the character arc that he went through in the original trilogy. Okay? Han Solo wouldn't just run away. No, he would fight. Maybe he's not a family man in that traditional sense, but the thing that it seemed to me that Han Solo was seeking out was family. Solo, that means he's by himself, he's alone. And no, I don't fucking buy that the Empire gave him that name. That's not Han Solo. That's something that Jonathan Kasdan made up. This is all going back to my grand unifying point. The point of this channel is to point out that Disney is trying to tell you how to think about these characters. Instead of what we were given in the original trilogy, which was very succinct and very clear, anybody could follow it, we're being told that, well, no, that's not really where it ended. He actually went back and turned into a piece of shit. Luke wasn't a great Jedi Master. He was a piece of shit who tried to kill his nephew in his sleep for having a bad dream. These traits are very inconsistent with our heroes. And were we to still consider them our heroes, we would be disappointed by how they ended up behaving in their elder years, which doesn't make any fucking sense. Anybody who knows anything about Star Wars and invested time in the EU and in the books and in the comic books, we knew that Han and Luke were very great men. They were legends in their own time. They saved the fucking galaxy from the Emperor and from the Sith. Now, yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr., we can give you the point that Han was a reluctant hero. Luke was a callous youth who had to walk through fire to earn his Jedi status. But people don't typically regress from that type of growth. That type of growth stays with you because it taught you something about who you were and showed you who you could be. And honestly, the upward goal of incarnating into human bodies in the first place is to give the spirit experience that it couldn't have had otherwise. Luke wouldn't just spend years learning from Force ghosts very subtle things about the Force that no other Jedi Master had access to in their time. The Jedi had an archive. Luke had Jedi spirits who were in touch with the Force, one with the Force. He wouldn't just become a piece of shit and go to Octo and drink Mercamel milk. Han Solo wouldn't just go on a drinking binge and sell a keepsake from his best friend, his war buddy, you know? So this new piece of Disney Star Wars canon is highly irritating to me. If Jar Jar Abrams is to follow his hitherto pattern, we're probably going to see some flashbacks involving Han Solo, which may or may not play into this new perception of who Han Solo was in his elder years prior to being impaled through the chest by a lightsaber. What's more important to me is headcanon, remembering how Han Solo made you feel the first time you saw him, and what he walked through, and what he became after finding family. Because remember, there's a family you're born with, and the family you find.
So, there you have it. My thoughts on Han fucking Solo. My name's Immortal Coil. Like, share, subscribe, drop me a comment. Let me know what you want to see on the next edition of Savage Spirituality. Check out my brothers in the Fandom Menace. We're a group of channels dedicated to correcting the course of the shit show that counts as entertainment in 2019. And remember, like Chewbacca always said,
Then I'll see you in hell.